You assuming about to call them blue, the way you be cluing. Stay awake, not woke, I'm tuned in. Your point of view too far, you need to zoom in. Ain't got no facts, you assuming about to call them blue, the way you be cluing. Have we had enough of your lies for one night? Have we felt enough of our pain to know it's real? How do you feel? Sick and tired of the lies, all I'm feeling is the pain. It's the devil in disguise while I'm standing in the rain, water pouring from the sky. But you tell me the opposite, like I don't have a consciousness, like I'm stuck in the matrix and my brain's up for the taking. But we don't do that, I know my facts. They say that he was elected, but where the stats at? They say that jab the only way to get your life back, but if you have a heart attack then they will go to hide that. Look at the FDA acting like KKK, trying to run all our lives like we they brand new slaves. Who's the job been from playing segregation all the same? They call themselves progressives, but they taking us all back again. Bring the world to darkness and sacrifice the children. Then when it's said and done, then you will never live with hope again. I say that we break the chains, we can't leave the world the same. Make love real again. As we fly above the truth, I ask of God, am I with you? I walk the path, go to the light, but still I feel that. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages from all across the world. My name is Chandler Crump, and you are now tuned in with us live on YouTube, Rumble, Getter, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I think I may have already said it, but I'll say Getter again. Shout out to all my different platforms and all my different people tuned in from all across the world. My name is Chandler Crump, and this is Crump Live, our twice weekly show we do on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sharp on most weeks. Sometimes here and there we drop a Tuesday or Thursday here or there, but for the most part we try to keep the show going for you to be updated with what's going on in the world of politics, culture, entertainment, you name it, we're going to cover it. And soon enough we're going to be covering even more things as we broaden our horizons. But I'm so happy to be back with you guys here in the village of Crump. I guess that's what we're going to call it today. Shout out to It's Australia Day every day, one of our Australian correspondents out of the land down under. We've also got Daniel Robinson, a Garson, Ben Weather, and a few other people who are tuning in with us over on YouTube. We've got some folks over on Rumble and Getter as well who are going to be rearing their beautiful faces very soon in the chat boxes over there. I more than invite you to do so, and I also invite you to smash that like button on the way in. We've got a great show for you guys later on as we continue the show tonight, so this is going to be a good one, so make sure you smash that like button on the way in. We've got a few questions to start off with, which I would more than happily answer. Daniel says, that opening song is fire. Who is that? Well, I'd like to tell you that is actually me. I don't know, I've heard my speaking voice is very different than my singing voice, but that's actually my song right there, which you can find on all streaming services under the album, my album, Year of the Rebel, which you can find just by hitting this link. I'll post it in the chat, but you can check it out. It's here, right here. You hit play and it'll take you to whatever streaming service of your choice. So let's say Spotify, and I'm going to open it up on my Spotify real quick. And as you can see, you've got my account here, but you should be able to see it and all the stuff right there. And boom, this is my album right here. So all 7 songs you can check out. This song was called Tuned In, but I also have a few other songs as well you can check out. So just head on over to your whatever network you use. We've got plenty of other songs for you to listen to as well, including my latest single, AOC Cappin', new music definitely along the way. But for right now, that's what we've got out there. So if you like Tuned In, what you just heard, then make sure you go to Spotify or visit this link right here that I just dropped in the chat, and you can find out all of my music there as well. This is my second album. I also have one other album before this that you can check out. Hip Hop Thinker is on the nose tonight. He says hashtag bye bye Liz. We're going to be talking about that very soon, as today, and also technically tonight, is primary night over in Wyoming, and she is going to be losing her precious house seat. That poor Liz Cheney. I honestly feel bad for her.
Stop the cap.
Nope.
I cannot wait to say goodbye to Liz Do Nothing Cheney. But anyways, for now, let's jump right in. Daniel says, nice and feeling the song. I'm going to check it out. Thanks, Chandler Trump. That's a good one. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you guys like that song, I've heard it sounds pretty good. You know, I've got my own ears for it, so I hear each and everything that I don't like about it. But of course, everybody else likes it, and I like it a good bit too. So definitely make sure you check out the song on all streaming services. But now, without any further ado, let's jump into the show for tonight. Now, this show starts off just a couple of days ago as we sort of bring ourselves up to what's happened today. So yesterday, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social, wow. Actually, I'll do it in the Trump voice. This is a fun show, so we'll do it in the Trump voice. You guys, give me a 1 out of 5, like between 1 and 5 stars of how good my Trump impression is. You guys ready? All right. Wow, in the raid by the FBI of Mar-a-Lago, they stole my 3 passports. One of them expired, along with everything else. This is an assault on a political opponent at a level never seen before in our country. Third world. I've heard some very bad things about my Trump impression, but I think it's pretty good. So y'all let me know how good that is. But that is some major stuff right there. So as you guys know, Trump last week had his whole Mar-a-Lago FBI, I got the sound effect for y'all, FBI, open up! Pulled up in the building, ran up in there and took whatever they wanted to take, whether it be documents, anything of that nature. They ran up there and they took it. And I guess Trump didn't realize it. I think he just came back from New York and was checking things out, running an appraisal on his property to see how much value was lost. Although I'd say out of all that, he had actually gained a lot of property value. Like, I'm the president of the United States, and my house was raided by the FBI. Nobody else can say that ever. But anyways, they stole 3 of his passports. One of them expired. Isn't that just some straight up madness right there? Isn't that just madness? Speaking of madness, y'all are tearing me up in the chat. Agarson says, end of the Cheney family corruption. Hip Hop Thinker says, Q, boys to men, it's hard to say goodbye. That's a good one. Daniel says, 5 stars, head on. I like that one, Daniel. Yep. You've got the seal of approval. Roxanne Shantae says 2. Oh. JR's Relocated Patriot says 3. D-Train gives me 2. Australia Day says, no comment. Oh, man. Yeah. But wait, it gets worse. I'm sure my Trump impression has been a lot worse than that. I think I'm getting better. Freedom Music says 3. Hip Hop says you're gonna have to work with Sean Faresh. It needs work. Roxanne says you tried. Oh man. Agarsons already knows what we're about to talk about in a little bit because Eric Trump's on to some business. But let's keep going with this part of the story. Now, obviously, some comments through social is really hilarious with the comments. Somebody named Merrick Garland 2022 says, "Flee the country. It's your only chance." Stop the cap. That's really funny right there. God bless America. You owe us gas money. I don't even know what that's about. I think this person's talking about Joe Biden and not Trump. But anyways, let's dig in because there's been even more stuff about this development. As you guys know, Merrick Garland, the DOJ, all have been exposed. And actually, I shouldn't even say exposed. They all came out and said, yeah, we did that. We're so proud of it. But the judge involved in it, who is this clown-looking gentleman right here. I might have to add a whole circus sound effect for this guy right here with his Oreos and I don't even know what that's supposed to be, some sort of alcoholic drink. That was a few years ago. But Judge Reinhardt is the person who okayed the FBI, open up! Raid on Trump. Just it needs that every single time to really accentuate it. But he's the one who okayed the raid. An order on the motion to unseal the affidavit backing the search warrant using the FBI's raid on Mar-a-Lago has been filed, and a hearing will take place on August 18th. The order dated August 16th reads, taking under advisement for the motion to unseal the search warrant materials, including attachments, yada yada, it is ordered that an in-person hearing will be held on August 18th at 1 p.m. in West Palm Beach before Magistrate Judge Bruce E. Clown Reinhardt. No remote or telephonic appearances will be permitted. If any movement/intervener wants to file or reply to the government's response, they may do so. So there is going to be an unsealing and a hearing about this order of the president's property to be raided. This is where we're going to hear everything that went into this decision. Former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence was raided by the FBI under a search warrant issued by the Department of Justice. During that raid, dozens of boxes were seized and taken from the home. Trump called for the search warrant to be unsealed and made public, which Attorney General Merrick Garland, under order from Reinhardt, did on Friday. The affidavit backing up the search warrant was not made public, and the DOJ has said they do not want it released. Trump has insisted on seeing the justification for the search. Garland has offered concern that those who are named in the affidavit should not have their names made public. Well, it seems like after all this, it might just be happening. Their names will come out and we will finally get to the bottom of why the FBI decided to the home of President Donald J. Trump. Now, to follow up on that passport story, thankfully, the passports were just now returned today. But isn't it quite a bit troubling that they were even taken in the first place? I mean, supposedly the DOJ and FBI are supposed to knock down doors because they know what they're looking for. Not running up into the former First Lady's closet to sniff at her clothes and taking passports here and there, whatever they decide is necessary. Trump posts, the DOJ and FBI just returned my passports. Thank you. Let me turn the impression back on. Unfortunately, when they raided my home, Mar-a-Lago, 8 days ago, they just opened their arms and grabbed everything in sight, much as a common criminal would do. This shouldn't happen in America.
I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
These people are acting like they don't know why they're running up in the president's home. We're gonna sniff all through Melania Trump's closet, which they did do. I shouldn't say sniff, but they did pilfer through her belongings in the closet. They were taking passports. This is an affront to a former president of the United States and a frontrunner for 2024, polling much better than Joe Biden is right now as a potential candidate. And they're acting like it's totally okay to run up in his house and take his passports for days on end. Those are days that he could not get out of the country unless he had other passports, which, you know, he's a very important figure, so he probably did. But assuming he didn't, he wouldn't be able to leave the country in between August 15th when he figured out it was raided, and even before that when he figured out the passports were gone, or even before that when the raid actually happened, to just today or so when he got them. That is some straight up madness. Straight up madness. And this is what we can expect to continue on if nothing changes. The Biden administration is announcing more money going towards the IRS, less money going towards Border Patrol agents, and a few hilarious things that are happening with companies that received, what was it, electric car dividends or subsidies, that's what I'm looking for, and then they raised their prices because of inflation in the supply chain. It's hilarious stuff we're going to be jumping into in a minute, but before we jump into that, we've got to talk about something that Agarsan made mention to a second ago that is just straight up hilarious. Cindy R says, hi there from Washington State. Shout out to my folks tuning in all across the world. It's so cool. Eric Trump says he will reveal the FBI raid surveillance tape. Yes, that's right. Yep. He is going to be dropping names and, you know, blowing bubblegum, taking names, whatever it may be, as he is going to be dropping the surveillance. Eric Trump, the second son of the former president, said his family is in possession of surveillance tapes of the FBI raid at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida, and this footage will absolutely be released at the right time. Will you still have the surveillance tape, is that correct? Will you, and are you allowed to share that with the country? Asked Sean Hannity. Absolutely, Sean, at the right time. Adding that all law enforcement officers, including FBI agents, should wear body cameras for transparency reasons. Let's check this video out real quick. Once it loads up over here.
8 days out, Sean, from the midterms. Yeah. It's not surprising. This timing is not surprising, and it's backfiring on these people.
Will you still have the surveillance tape, is that correct? Are you allowed to share that with the country?
Absolutely, Sean, at the right time. And your body cam point was spot on. That's why cops wear body cams. They don't tell you to turn off cameras. They want transparency, and that's...
Yeah, so I know the video is a little quiet, so I'm going to give you guys a second to turn your volumes back down. But basically the gist of what he was saying there was pretty much what we just read. He's got the body camera footage, not the body camera footage, he has the surveillance camera footage, and this stuff, once released, will definitely do some damage to these tyrants, straight up. Eric Trump's claim confirms what Christina Bobb, one of the former president's lawyers, already said last week about security cameras being on at the Florida home during most of the FBI search. According to what Bob told the right-wing media network Real America's Voice last week, surveillance cameras were off for a short time while the FBI agents talked to Donald Trump's lawyer team, but that the Trump family had seen the whole thing, the FBI raid, from New York through the surveillance video. Eric Trump had already mentioned the surveillance tapes of the FBI search of Mar-a-Lago in an interview with the Daily Mail, during which he said the cameras at the Florida residence captured the agents raiding areas they were not authorized to. Yikes, breaking the rules ain't really what you're supposed to do. According to Eric Trump, the FBI agents searching the Florida resort had asked the surveillance cameras to be turned off, a request that he suggested was made to cover up improper behavior, like, I don't know, taking passports or pilfering through closets. maybe that's just my idea of what unacceptable and improper behavior is. It should be the FBI's, but it seems like they get to make up their own rules now. Daniel says, I wish Trump would announce he is running already and put an end to the madness. I can feel that one right there. Australia Day says it's more bullcrap from the Federal Bureau of Incompetence. That's a good one right there. Freedom Music says Trump should have left a copy in the safe of pedo Peter and his son Hunter being creeps, because that is real evidence that should be looked at. Also, every single person that is named on Epstein Island. Yeah, if it was found in Trump's safe, it would definitely immediately be investigated. Just imagine that. It would have been so fast. You wouldn't even have to drop a dime. It would have been before the pin hits the floor. That's how fast they would have began the investigation into any and everything involving what's in that safe. But unfortunately, they couldn't find anything. So what they have to do, they had to take passports and they had to take boxes of random junk that, although they're trying to get him on the Espionage Act or something, it's not going anywhere. But anyways, we've got another big story to cover here. Give you guys a little sneak peek of it. DHS whistleblower has leaked a new joint intelligence bulletin on domestic violence extremists sent in the wake of the Mar-a-Lago raid. Yes, that's right. They're thinking that after this raid on Mar-a-Lago, there might be a whole new wave of domestic extremism coming soon. All of that and more right after the break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hey freethinkers, Chandler here, and welcome to the brand new one-of-a-kind commercial break. Here on the Chandler Crump channel, we pride ourselves on straight-talking nature, adherence to facts, resistance to media programming, and a loyalty to the red, white, and blue above all. These live shows are what I consider to be my job, and I only get paid on tips around here. So if you think I've done a good job or want to encourage me to do even better, then check out the description of this video and go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler. This is our donation processor and the one-stop shop to support all things Chandler. If you choose to, you can even have your name appear on stream to flaunt that you support our show. This is of course the illustrious Hall of Heroes bar above me. Another path to the Hall of Heroes is of course Cash App. My Cash App code is $ChandlerCR and is visible on every one of my streams. Thank you guys so much. Now, let's get back to the show. You heard me right, folks. So if you want to donate to support the show, all of those options are available down below. I do believe I have some updates to the Hall of Heroes to make, so I'll get through and do that. But shout out to everybody who has donated since our last show. I'll go through and read some of those names as soon as I can. But once again, all support does go towards this channel, improving my ability to bring content to you guys. Get out there, do events, you name it, we do it here. So shout out to all of the folks who have donated support. And now let's check in on this, because this story is insane. Now this is coming, of course, from Project Veritas, who is once again doing an amazing, just straight up amazing job of getting out there and exposing anything and everything that is happening behind the curtains of what the deep state, whatever group it is, doesn't want us to see. And they have once again so flagrantly exposed this organization. Document lists perceptions of government overreach and election fraud as a red flag. The threats we have observed to date underscore the DVEs. They may view the 2020 midterm election as an additional flashpoint around which to escalate threats against perceived ideological opponents, including federal law enforcement personnel, like the FBI. Information contained in this intelligence bulletin is for official use only. No portion of this bulletin should be released to the media, the general public, or over non-secure internet servers. Release of this material could adversely affect or jeopardize investigative activities. Yeah.
Got him.
Yeah, well, too bad. Project Veritas has it. Let's watch the video now.
Breaking news, a source within the Department of Homeland Security has leaked to us an intelligence bulletin marked for official use only unclassified in light of the FBI raid on President Trump. This document, dated August 12th, refers to a heightened threat from what the Department of Homeland Security calls DVEs, or domestic violent extremists, quote, motivated by a range of ideologies who have grievances against a variety of targets, including law enforcement. Domestic violent extremists are referred to in one of these paragraphs as, quote, many of these threats include references to the perception that the 2020 presidential election was fraudulent and other claims of government overreach.
What are we talking about?
Midterms in this document are also highlighted as a potential, quote, flashpoint for this violent extremism. We would not have this document, but not for the brave source inside the Department of Homeland Security, a news source that reached out to us on our tip line, veritastips@protonmail.com, and also our Signal cell phone. We're getting a lot of sources within the federal government coming to Project Veritas because they certainly can't go to places like the Washington Post or the New York Times, who quote these people on background and show you no documents at all. Now, the Department of Homeland Security has declined to confirm the existence of this document, but you can see it with your own eyes and ears, which is certainly not something the mainstream media wants you to necessarily see, but you can see it here and you can see it on our website. As you may recall, 2 weeks ago, a source in the FBI, a different source, sent us a series of documents revealing that the agency was categorizing patriotic symbols that are very common as indicators of, quote, militia violent extremism.
And we talked about that as well. Literally images of the Gadsden flag, the Betsy Ross flag, some other things I can't even quite remember. Somebody on the show sent in a picture of them actually drinking from a mug that had the Gadsden flag on it and said, well, I guess I'm a domestic militia violent extremist now. Well, I guess you're not wrong.
And as Ted Cruz pointed out in the hearing, cross-examining Christopher Wray, the Gadsden flag, this bow tie, if I were to wear it, the FBI would consider it an indication of militia violent extremism. And as Senator Cruz so eloquently articulated, Christopher Wray, what are you doing?
Can you blame us for really starting to wonder just how much are these supposed investigative organizations actually fighting for our security, our homeland security? Because I'm starting to think if you even go to chandlercrump.com/merch and check out some of our options right here, you might just become a domestic terrorist yourself. I mean, arresting Fauci for what he did to puppies? I don't know if you can talk about that. I don't know if you could get this shirt in small, medium, large sizes shipping to America, Canada, and various other places, or maybe even a shirt talking about how terrible these gas prices are and were. I don't know if you could do that, but if you want to take the risk, all those options are available in the description below and also available in the chat. You aren't going to want to miss out on all these amazing options right now, including mugs, shirts, hoodies, stickers, and all sorts of designs, including our brand new Biden Loves Miners, which is a personal favorite of mine you need to check out. And just a really nice effect right here. Hello, my name is Pedo Peter. Anyways, isn't it insane what the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, DOJ think they can pull over our eyes and get away with? Militia, domestic violence, or domestic, what is it? Yeah, domestic terrorism, that's what it is. Domestic violent extremists. Hush. Viewing the midterm election as an additional flashpoint around which to escalate threats against perceived ideological opponents, government overreach, election fraud, basically anything that conservatives or Trump has talked about in the past year insofar as this might be a risk to our republic. Well, yeah, I guess you're a terrorist now. Congratulations, welcome. Or if you have a flag that says, don't tread on me, or even some versions of the American flag, or what, the Punisher logo? Yeah, you're a terrorist, and we might have to bring you in for questioning. You might get stopped at the airport. Who knows what can happen? Anything can happen. But this is all sorts of madness that is happening right now with these intelligence organizations, and this is the FBI and Homeland Security that are being exposed. They aren't putting this out there. This is actually being leaked to organizations like Project Veritas, and then, the mass media picks it up finally, and that's how we hear about it. So can you imagine how much worse it truly is? There's always that theory where it's like, if you can see how bad it is already so much worse. So let's say you can see an infection on your arm, you've got the gangrene, but you might already have sepsis. It might already be flowing through your bloodstream. You're probably hours away from death. It's possible. But seeing it on the surface, you're like, oh, it's not so bad. If I just pour some alcohol, take some antibiotics, whatever, it might not be that bad. But it might already be enough to kill you. Imagine that, but a way less gross and less biological way to look at it with our government. If this is what the government is not even putting out, but we're cutting the layers off the skin and looking at the tumor or the infection beneath the skin, as in the Gadsden flag is a terrorist symbol or whatever else it may be, imagine how much worse it truly is. What our insiders and our whistleblowers haven't yet blown the whistle or exposed quite yet. That's why people get so concerned every time they see something like this, because you start to wonder, dang, if that's how bad it is, it's already so much worse. And that's what's scary. But anyways, we've got to change gears just a little bit and jump into another piece of this story right here. This comes from Rudy Giuliani, and it's about his various election claims. He's been in court, and it's looking not so great, but I wanted to cover this briefly before we switch gears even more. But Rudy Giuliani is now the target of a Georgia investigation over his election claims. This could get bad. Former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani is set to testify on August 17th, that is tomorrow, in Atlanta, Georgia, in front of a grand jury. What the prosecution alleges was his role in looking into election integrity concerns in Georgia's 2020 general election. The New York Times reported that Rudy Giuliani has been told that he is a target of the criminal investigation in Georgia into election interference. He is scheduled to testify in Atlanta later this week. Giuliani was informed that he was a target of a probe into his possible interference in the election. Much of this stems from the Trump campaign's efforts to create slates of alternate electors who could vote for Trump in the Electoral College should the original results be found inaccurate. The investigation is being led by the District Attorney of Fulton County, Fani Willis. On August 9th, a Fulton County judge in Georgia ordered Trump's former private attorney to appear before a special grand jury. Willis said her investigation is covering solicitation of election fraud, the making of false statements to state and local government bodies, conspiracy, racketeering, yada yada, related to the elections administration. The Times reported that Donald Trump tried to convince Georgian GOP leaders to overturn the election results in the Peach State. Giuliani is to be asked about December 2020 conversations he had with state legislative panels allegedly in support of Trump's efforts. In her petition to obtain testimony from Giuliani, along with other Trump associates, Willis wrote, "There is evidence that Giuliani's appearance and testimony at the hearing was part of a multi-state coordinated plan by the Trump campaign to influence the results of the November 2020 election." A Giuliani lawyer confirmed to the Times that their client was named as a key figure in the Georgia election investigation. According to CNN last week, when the Georgia judge ordered Giuliani to appear, it was unclear if the former New York mayor was officially a target or not. So once again, they're trying to find more and more ways to go after the people that tried to get things done. And whether it was okay or not, I guess they're going to be the ones that get to decide. But these skewed courts, like the Fulton County Court, I wouldn't trust it. Or the D.C. various circuit courts they've got running up there. If you've got January 6 charges, it's hard. It's hard because it's a kangaroo court, basically. They've got the committee. They've got these courts stacked in their favor. It's like trying to go to war, but you've been deployed in the middle of Berlin, surrounded by SS soldiers. You've got no way out. They're about to pull the trigger. They're demanding you surrender. What are you gonna do? It's a morbid scenario to imagine, but that's pretty much the best comparison you can get out of this. So to Rudy Giuliani, I give him the best of luck. I know Georgia's at least a little bit better than Washington, D.C., but it still might not go so great. But we'll see what happens. But anyways, it's time we completely change gears away from Trump and all that, and finally into some straight-up madness. This story right here is... I don't even know how it's real. And I was just told about this story a few hours ago, and I was in shock. The nerve, the audacity. There is now fury as Minneapolis Teachers Union is negotiating a clause requiring white educators be laid off first, regardless of seniority, to make up for past discriminations, as the rule is part of a contract that ended a 2-week strike this past March. A new contract between Minneapolis' public schools and Teachers Union has caused outrage as it could see senior white teachers intentionally laid off before teachers of color, whatever that means. The contract says instead of teacher layoffs or relocations being decided based on seniority, as is typical, schools can ignore that protocol and dismiss senior staff members if otherwise a teacher of color will be laid off. The agreement was reached in spring of 2022 after a 2-week teacher strike and was spearheaded by Minneapolis Federation of Teachers President Greta Callahan. Many have called the deal unconstitutional and accused it of addressing past racism with more racism, which there's no accusation, that's literally what it is. It reads, if accessing a teacher who is a member of a population underrepresented among licensed teachers in the site, the district shall access the next least senior teacher who is not a member of an underrepresented population. The prioritizing of teachers of color over senior educators may also be applied to rehiring after layoff. And there's some Ilhan Omar and Ayanna Pressley and Rashida Tlaib and I don't know who these two are, but there you go. Greta Callahan and Cori Bush. Okay, there you go. There's all 5 of them. And there's more pictures and things of this nature about the anti-bias, anti-racist. It's literally oxymoronic. The anti-bias and anti-racist components. I can't deal. I really can't. The move was met with a swift backlash, with an economics professor branding it racism in action. Constitutional lawyer Hans Bader characterized the deal as unconstitutional in an editorial in Liberty Unyielding on Sunday, saying the race-based layoff provision violated portions of the Civil Rights Act. When it comes to termination, an employer can't racially discriminate even against whites. The Third Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in 1996 that a school district can't consider race even as a tiebreaker in deciding who to lay off, even to promote diversity. Because if we're promoting diversity by discrimination, it is still, can I get a drum roll please? Discrimination. I don't know what to tell these people. It's like they just don't understand. They're sitting here like,
I don't know what I said.
I don't remember.
It's no use. What are we talking about?
They don't have brains anymore. They really don't. Ladies, I can't continue with this story because it's gonna send me off my rocker. But that just shows you what's going on. Once again, if we have any Minnesota people in here, and I want to even track down what is that county again? If it's the what county is that? I just have to know. It's Minneapolis, so it's Minneapolis, whatever county. Hold on, what county is Minneapolis in? Or it's probably in a few counties, but Hennepin County, and it's the county seat is Minneapolis, the state's most populous city. I think there might be a few more cities because I know, or counties because I know cities have wide borders, but Hennepin County appears to be the top research result. So if you're in Hennepin County, if you're in Minneapolis, if you're even in Minnesota, I beg of you, do something about this, at least for your own sake, because it starts off in a major city like Minneapolis, and then it starts to metastasize throughout your entire state, and then eventually to the rest of the country. I know this is something that was happening in colleges. We had black POC only zones where if you were white and you walked in there, you would literally get kicked out. They would scream at you, whatever it may be. New discrimination is coming, and it's only going to get worse as we allow it to happen. Now, people may be like, but it's discrimination against the people that have done the discriminating, and they have the power, so it's not actually discrimination. And to that, I say, you're wrong. You're wrong. Now, you may say, oh, they did the discriminating before, and they may have the power, but that doesn't mean it isn't discrimination now. You can argue that if you have the power to discriminate against them, you're the discriminator now. You have the power. So it's stopping them from turning around in 40 years and saying, well, here's why we need to make sure that we're firing black teachers first. And then it would suddenly be racist, right? Wouldn't it? Because what they're arguing for right now, if they say this is what we need to accept, is POC, black, whatever, supremacy above white people. When I thought this all started off to make equality so that we didn't have to worry about race when it came to these things, but more so merit. As it went by seniority. The longer you stay employed in an institution, it must mean you're doing something right. You haven't been fired, you haven't been heavily reprimanded. You've got good reason to keep your job, right? But it so turns out that some other person who's maybe only been there 1 or 2 years moved from Atlanta or wherever else, and they just so happen to be a person of color. They get to keep their job, and you, working in that district for 25 years, have to kick rocks and find somewhere else to work, even though you served literal generations of students well. Students that were born when you were a teacher, went through your class, were graduated, came back and visited you. You're like an elementary school teacher, a middle school teacher, whatever it may be. They're off in the workforce now, or they're off at college. You've been teaching at this school for decades, and some random teacher who might not have even been alive by the time you started teaching, but now is up there with you, and you're the one that gets to be laid off, and that teacher gets to continue on. Now that's just an example, but it is entirely possible and shows you just how nasty this system is. That the color of your skin can determine how you're treated. I hope this is really dawning upon you, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sure it already is, but if you have people sitting around you and they're like, I don't agree with what this kid is saying, I want you to think real deep and think real hard. And once again, if we have to do it, you can say, flip the script. 40 years down the line, after the black and the BIPOC, whatever, have done their turn of oppressing, if we're suddenly like, oh, the white people have power now. Oh, well, now the teacher who is black, who has worked there for 25 years, but because they're overrepresented, they are the ones that get to kick rocks. Then it would be racist, right? It's food for thought. It's food for thought, ladies and gentlemen. Anyways, we're going to skirt on past that one right there, but I hope you guys, or I won't even say you guys, but I hope the people around you that don't do enough thinking and you know who they are, I hope they have gotten to think about this just a little bit more. And no offense to you if you're the one that's just sitting here like, okay, wait, I think I finally understand what he's saying. because that means you have the understanding to think things through. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of each and every person who's finally sat there and been like, okay, wait, I was kind of for this before, or at least I didn't have an opinion, but now I'm sitting here like, dang, he's kind of right. It is discrimination. We're sending ourselves back to the 1960s. I rap in one of my songs, and I forget which one, and I say something along the lines of, we're so progressive that we're regressing now. I'll have to check and figure out which song it was in. I think it was in my new album, Year of the Rebel. It was on one of those songs, but we're getting so far ahead and being so progressive and so for equality that we're literally regressing and going back to what we had before. We're literally going back to stupidity. It's insane to imagine. It's insane. Dagny says, agree with your first comment on the second. There's both happening. Talking to Restream Bot. Dagny, Restream Bot is just like rebroadcasting someone's comments from another platform, so keep an eye on that. Corey Chambers says, Minneapolis is a failed city, a cesspool of crime and woke racism. Australia Day says, there is race, ethnicity, culture. Race and ethnicity are identifiers, culture is a way of life. In Australia, you were not born Australian, you become Australian. What glues us together is mateship. I can imagine that in the Australian accent. What glues us together is mateship. I think that's my best one. I know Australia Day is about to give me like a 1 star out of 5 for that Australian accent impression right there. But still, that's the madness going on right there. Let's keep on moving. I guess if we're on the subject of Australia, we could talk about your mother country, the UK. A far-left group within the UK is now calling for the banning of libs of TikTok, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, Jack Posobiec, and others over groomer tweets. Yeah, that's right. Apparently, if you spoke the word groomer or anything like that, you deserve to get banned. This was a major wave that was happening earlier this month and last month against the MAP group. I'm not going to get too far into that, but you guys should know what I'm talking about. Some madness right there. The UK Centre for Countering Digital Hate, in association with the Human Rights Campaign, has taken up the cry that the term groomer, referring to adults that usher children into a lifestyle of gender identity and abuse, is an anti-LGBT slur. In response, they have made a blacklist of those Twitter accounts that routinely blast the practice as inhumane and anti-child, and want Twitter to ban those users from the platform. The post-millennial reached out to those on the list for comment and found that each of these individuals is undeniably proud of the work they've done to expose the harms of the gender industry on America, her youth, and our future. The center claims that social media has contributed to LGBTQ plus hate and listed those accounts that are the most opposed to grooming by gender identity ideologues. These users proudly oppose procedures that would see American children and teens sterilized, deprived of function, and turned into lifelong medical patients under care of gender-affirming doctors. So here is that list right here, posted by Libs of TikTok. Of course, they're the ones to expose it. Marjorie, James Lindsay, Lauren Boebert, Shia Raichik. Oh, that's Libs of TikTok. I don't like saying her name, but Tim Runs His Mouth, Christina Pushaw, plenty of folks right here, including one that's already banned, James Lindsay. He actually got zapped off of Twitter just like about a week ago. He's gone now. I don't even know who Matt's Idea Shop is, but I've heard of it. I've met I think almost every single member of this list right here. They're great people. Meanwhile, they're the ones that need to get banned off of Twitter. Marjorie, James is already gone. Lauren, Libs of TikTok, Tim Young, Christina Pushaw, all these different people, and they've been targeted. Twitter and Meta failed to enforce their own rules, failing to act on 99% of the most viewed tweets with LGBTQ plus hate. I'm honored to be ranked the number one defender of children by this activist group, said Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene to the Post-Millennial about being in the top spot of the anti-groomer list. The godless left has made it a priority to groom our kids and steal their innocence. Schools, libraries, and even Saturday morning cartoons have been infected and injected with a deviant sexual agenda designed to brainwash and corrupt. I will never stop speaking the truth and exposing the Democrat plan to destroy America. And very soon I'm introducing legislation to stop it. I will always defend kids. That's good right there. Yep. I love Marjorie Taylor Greene. I do. I will never apologize to deranged and ugly lunatics children, said Jack Posobiec. The only thing I apologize for is not being on top of the list. I love that. I love the friendly competition. Yeah, Jack, he's sadly at number 9. Yeah, you get those numbers up, Jack. You need to pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers right there. Of course, I'm nowhere near on the list, and if I was, I'd probably be at like 1,000. Yeah, social media these days is real difficult. This is the hill to die on. Defending the innocence of children is necessary at all times, says Drew Hernandez, whose show Frontlines was blasted by the Center for Countering Digital Hate. The grooming of children is on full display, and it's clear who is trying to normalize it, defend it, and hide it. As a Christian, a member of humanity, and the media, I will never stop exposing this evil agenda. I love these folks. I really love these folks. They're doing it. They really are doing it, and I couldn't be any more proud. So there you go. Corey says MTG is our vaccine against AOC. Susanna says MTG is absolutely correct. They're grooming kids. Susanna also says Twitter is ridiculously insane. I'm not trusting Elon Musk anymore. He's one of the people who are green nuts because he stands to profit from same. Yeah, there's some weird stuff happening with all that, but we'll see what happens with Elon Musk and Twitter right there. But once again, take a good look at this list here of the LGBT hateful people, of course. Marjorie, James, Lauren, all of them in the top 3, and of course the top 10 as well. Jack and Chad and Drew Hernandez, all these folks really burning down the house. I couldn't be any more proud of him. Oh, here's Matt's idea shop. Oh, so he works with the Daily Wire. That's good. And he says, well, he had a meme. He said, I was listed. There you go. That's some good stuff right there. But can you really question us saying, oh yeah, there's some weird grooming stuff happen, when this is what is happening? And this is actually in Texas right here. This story right here. CPS worker has been fired after allegedly telling a 14-year-old girl to become an inappropriate worker. Yes, that's right. This is a real story that was published just 2 days ago, and it is going to be big. You aren't going to want to go anywhere. You stay right here. We'll be right back after another brief message from our sponsor. Hey, free thinkers. Chandler here. Have you ever worried for you and your loved one's data being taken online, like your social security number or bank information? Well, it's not an irrational fear. It's all totally possible. But I'm here to tell you there's a solution to that problem. The solution? It's called DataSeal.io. For one monthly or annual plan for you or even your household, you can have DataSeal systematically scan and remove your information from the internet. So if you're interested, hit the link in the description or go to DataSeal.io and use code CRUMP, that is code CRUMP, at checkout for a discount on your subscription. Now, let's get back to the show. So I do want to give a quick second to highlight our sponsor of the channel this month, which is DataSeal.io. I've played a few of their ads on the show, and I'm going to try and see if I can pull up their website for you guys here as well. But once you go to this website, you can actually gain access to defending your data from being stolen. So this actually gives you just an idea of their individual plans. I like to just go in for that. Here's the monthly plan. $13 a month. It automatically opts you out of all of the covered sites, which is a plethora of websites that have and cache data. Cache means like to hold on to it and share to other people. They run privacy scans, they email you reports of where your data is found, and they also provide data breach monitoring. All of that is available to you guys for a discounted price, so it won't actually be $13 a month. It'll be something more like $11 or maybe even $10 a month if you use code CRUMP. So once you go there, you hit select plan, go through all of that information right there. You can defend yourself from having your data stolen online. Or if you just want to get a good idea of what they do, just go to dataseal.io and get a good idea. They identify your data, they secure it, they delete it off the internet, all that good stuff. Right now, go to dataseal.io and use code CRUMP at checkout and consider it. Really, even just a month is enough to get your information off there. If you want to do just a month to get all your information off, start a fresh, clean slate, even that is, I'd say, a pretty good deal. And if you want to keep up the defense, then just keep up your subscription. And of course, a small portion of it does go towards supporting the channel. So, hey, I'd say it's a win-win-win right there. So if you want to check all that out, it's in the description, dataseal.io. But now, we've got to check in on this just straight up insane story. I saw it, and I literally almost had one of those cartoon Looney Tunes moments where your eyes like dart out of your head like, whoa, 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 because that's how crazy it was. A Texas Child Protective Services employee lost her job after allegedly telling a 14-year-old girl to become a worker. Keisha Basley, a Texas mother of 9 who turned to the CPS to help with her 14-year-old daughter, told Fox Houston that her child was running away and causing trouble at school, prompting her to call in family services. My daughter told me that the worker had been telling her she should do these things, so she said she decided to video her. CPS is housing the girl at a hotel just like dozens of other foster kids in Harris County. The video allegedly shows an exchange between the teen and a CPS worker who reportedly tells the girl to do some work, and giving her an incentive to do so, and almost a threat of not having her needs being met if she didn't do what this woman very explicitly told her to do. If me, the parent, was to do something like this to my child, I would be bashed. I would be called a horrible parent. I would lose my kids. This should not happen to girls in their care, she said. It should not happen. It's unacceptable. I've never seen that happen before, where the commissioner of CPS comes in from Austin just to apologize about something horrible that's been done to a child involving the organization, said Schneider. It's bad enough if it's just one bad rogue worker. It concerns me that it may be bigger than that, and they need to make sure it's not just one person. And they've got to find a way to protect these kids. In a statement to Fox, Texas Department of Family and Protective Services spokeswoman Melissa Lanford said, DFPS is aware of the video and has taken action. The person in the video, who was employed as CPS support staff, was dismissed from her position on August 10th. So now I want to see if I can find the video. Apparently it's not linked in the article when I thought it would be, but here's screenshots from it. And I'm going to check on YouTube real quick for you guys and see if we can find it, because I do want to do a live reaction, so I'll just do Texas CPS and see if I can find it, because this is just straight up madness right here. So I'm seeing videos from Fox Houston, so we'll just watch it like this. I'm going to mute it until we actually see what we're trying to get here. Yeah, because I don't want them to catch me on it. They will. So here we go.
To become a prostitute. The daughter recorded the CPS worker on her cell phone.
I was there, because the worker had been, in fact, telling her, this is how you can make money. You need to do this. I used to do this, and you could do the same thing.
You're basically telling a child that lives in a hotel, you can make $1,500 a day if you're a prostitute.
Right, and also, it might be something you want to do if you want to eat.
When I saw the video with the lady, it's like my soul left my body.
I think that they're threatened by the fact that this video even exists.
Yeah, my soul would leave my body too. I couldn't even imagine it. I'm young, so I can't even put myself in the position of a mother or a father. But I know for those that are out there in the comments, let me know what you think. But if I heard this being told to my own daughter or son, I'd sit there. I don't even know what I could say. It would be fury. From my stance, it would be straight up fury and like get away from my child. Like it would evoke that defensive nature. Like, what are you doing? And I have that, for other children as well. Like that young girl right there, she's basically my age. I'm turning 18 next month, so I can't even say that. I am starting to get old, ladies and gentlemen. So she's 40 years or so younger than me. So I guess not nearly close to my age. But either way, she's still within my generation. I can feel that kinship. That's some insane stuff to be told right there. So can you wonder why we're out here trying to call out groomers and all these different people that are doing insane stuff to the children, instructing them to, get into this line of work? And that's the tame side right there, because other ones are actually more irreparable bodily harm. Now, that could be bodily harm right there, and she would have needed help if she got into that, because that's a one-way ticket to trafficking, and that can be harmful to you as well. But we're talking about genital mutilation. We're talking about mental health damage, all sorts of madness right there. And these groups are trying to come after us and call us the bad guys, call us the hateful ones. You're trying to get young boys and young girls to mutilate their bodies to adhere to your dumb ideology for whatever you consider healthy and whatever you consider standing for your identity. When what these kids are really doing is subjecting themselves to these surgeries, subjecting themselves to your insanity, alienating themselves from their community and from sometimes even their own parents, all for your agenda to keep pushing it forward. And I'm seeing on all these streaming services, we need to accept and promote these new voices. And I'm starting to see people in the young generation on TikTok starting to be like, listen, I'm trying to watch TV on Netflix and every show it's gay, 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 gay. This is the gayest generation we're going to have in America, Gen Z. And even they're starting to get tired of how much is being shoved down our throats. That should be saying something to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is some straight up madness. And we're not allowed to say anything about it. We're not allowed. To really put it into perspective right there. Douglas Podcast says, I'm late. Preach, Chandler. Love the energy. We need to be loud and speak up for these children. I agree. We really do. I Sell Cat Litter says, if they were afraid of Trump fleeing the country, why didn't they take his jet? I don't know. Why didn't they take Trump Air? That's a good question. Susanna says, the government is corrupt and protecting perverts, so you're going to find problems with foster care, adoption services. Churches should be in charge of adoption service. Yeah, I can see that one right there, but even then would be some madness. In just about 10 minutes, the primary results from Wyoming will start to filter in. We're not going to be covering them totally live because I'm sure from Wyoming it's going to be pretty slow. But do know that in 10 minutes, it will be Judgment Day for Liz Cheney. I'm going to play some quick funeral music for her real quick. As I say, a proud shout out to St. June in the building. He says, yes, preach. Shout out to St. June, long time. Heavy supporter of the channel. Proud to see you in the building again. Yeah, it's some madness. Australia Day every day. All my folks in the building. I would like to say a quick word of encouragement for Liz Cheney. as she transitions, and yes, I mean that in every way possible, transitions to her next job, which will more than likely be, I don't know, some Washington DC lobbying or something like that. Yeah, she's going down. Liz Cheney is about to be primaried, and I'm so excited. The 118th Congress does not need anybody from the old guard like her. So bye-bye to the daughter of Robert R. says, does that say Hal Burton? Or Halle Burton? Okay, interesting. But either way, bye-bye, Liz Cheney. Dagny says, same people used to say toys had no gender. Now if a kid plays with an opposite gender, you are suddenly trans. Yeah, it's a madness. It's a madness. Anyways, before we make our way on to the story, which is in 10 minutes, I gotta cover this one right here. We're gonna cover that one a little bit, not the whole time, though. It's gonna take a while for those results to come in. But this one right here. The Inflation Reduction Act is now promising a $7,500 electric vehicle credit, but this comes after Ford and General Motors have raised prices on their electric cars. Yep. The ultimate irony, straight up, just...
What are we talking about?
Oh my gosh, I feel bad for Biden.
Go, you know the thing.
It's no use! It really is sad, and sometimes it feels like there is no point in even fighting anymore if your name is Joe Biden and you're trying to get anything done to save your chances in 2022 and 24. But the Inflation Reduction Act, unfortunately, did pass the House very recently, and it has been signed, or is to be signed today by Joe Biden. I think it was signed earlier today already, so it's over 87,000 new IRS agents that are going to be... for that lemonade stand you may or may not have opened last month. You name it, they've done it. Oh my gosh. We're going to transition to that in a second, actually, grand old memes, but I was just sent a meme that... Oh, it's so good. And I could go for some McDonald's right now. You guys are going to love this meme in a second once I find it. It should be right... Jeez, he's posted a lot of memes today. But this is from Liz Cheney. Okay, where is it? This was posted today, right? This was not posted today. Okay, hold on. This is under Liz Cheney. Okay, we're going to do some live meme searching real quick. You guys are going to want to see this. So under Liz Cheney's post of her voting for herself. What an ugly woman. Okay, so this is... That's what grand old memes posted right there. And then somebody else posted under it this one right there. Now hiring rhinos. It's Trump with the Make America Great Again tattoo and Liz Cheney working at McDonald's. Oh, you love to see it. You love to see it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, hey, after the Inflation Reduction Act, I think the FBI might come over. The FBI and IRS might come on over and... FBI, open up! And knock down her doors and take pretty much everything she's got. And she's going to be like, well, I've got nothing left and nobody wants to hire a rhino. Wait, what does that say? Now hiring rhinos. Woohoo! Woohoo! I've got a job for me over at McDonald's. Well, I've got to pay for my family somehow. I can't keep my figure straight if I'm not getting paid that good old $15 an hour.
Go, you know the thing.
Gosh, anyways, let's jump back into the Inflation Reduction Act. Susanna says, FBI, open up. That's a good one right there. That's a good one. Shayla Day says, you've never even failed until you tried, and you've never even failed until you failed to try. Be proud and loud, Trump 24. So true. So true. D-Train says, Liz Cheney political career with tombstones. That's a good one. Before we continue, we're at 71 likes. So if you guys can help us get up to 100 likes for the show tonight, that would be great. Make sure you smash that like button in the building. Let's keep it going. But let's keep it going. I was going to say that anyways. Ahead of the Inflation Reduction Act, extending the tax credit of up to $7,500 for purchases of new electric and hybrid vehicles, Ford and General Motors announced price increases at similar rates.
Yep. Go, you know the
Rub
thing.
my leg down.
And you ain't black. Billions.
I just love a good bit of irony, don't y'all? Don't y'all? Last week, Ford announced price hikes between $6,000 and $8,500 for most of its lineup of F-150 Lightning electric vehicles, while General Motors upped its electric Hummer cost by $6,250 last month. Both companies blamed higher production costs for the price increases. I wonder why those production costs went up. I can think of a pretty dang good reason if I do say so myself.
Rub my leg down.
It's no use! So sad. Due to significant material cost increases and other factors, Ford has adjusted MSRP starting with the opening of the next wave of F-150 Lightning orders, Ford explained in a press release. The Inflation Reduction Act extends the consumer tax credit of up to $7,500 for new electric vehicles until 2032 and adds another credit of up to $4,000 for purchases of a used electric vehicle. The measure includes a cap of $55,000 on purchases of new retail electric vehicles and a cap of $80,000 for electric trucks, vans, and SUVs. It also includes more stringent requirements on sourcing and production in order for vehicles to be eligible for the credit. As a result of their price increases, some of the Ford and General Motors vehicles subjected to the price hikes will top the cap, and therefore be ineligible for the tax credit. For example, the new big battery version of the F-150 Lariat now costs $87,000. Not all of the vehicles affected by the price hikes will eclipse the cap. For example, the F-150 Lightning Pro rose about $7,000 from $39,000 to $46,000, but remains below the cap. Some electric vehicle companies have announced price increases over recent months as supply chain problems, chip shortages, and high shipping costs and inflationary pressures bite their cost of operations. In June, Tesla announced price increases for Model 3 and Model Y. These companies are hurting just like Americans are. And unfortunately, companies can afford to pass along that debt and pass along that price to Americans. And next thing you know, you're going to have to pay $75,000 more for that electric car you were going to get because the Inflation Reduction Act was going to help you out. But now it seems like the only person that's helping out is Ford because dang, they're swallowing that $7,500 extra that dealerships are going to have to buy, and then they're going to have to pass that on to you if you get a car loan or whatever else they tack onto it. They're making a killing off of you. And sure, they're going to have to deal with inflation and they're going to have to swallow a little bit of that, but look at where we are right now. We're going to have to pay billions more for the things we didn't have to pay billions before. That's how crazy it's getting. But hey, chocolate chip and Joe Brandon and Dark Brandon and whatever it may be the White House tries to promote, just take a look at this. The electric vehicle before was $50,000, but with the Inflation Reduction Act, it's now $57,500. But it's $7,500 cheaper, right? What do you...
I don't know what I said.
I don't remember.
What are we talking about?
They don't know right from left anymore. They don't know right from wrong. They don't know up from down, and they don't know 50,000 from 57,050 anymore. They don't know anything. And these are the people that have a vote that counts just as much as yours does. Dagny says EVs plugged into a charge station powered by a diesel generator. Australia Day says go Brandon, go Brandon. Hey, go Brandon, it's your birthday. Go Brandon, it's your birthday. Go Brandon. Go Brandon, it's your birthday. Go Brandon, it's your birthday. You turning 80, it's your birthday. Go Brandon, it's your birthday. That's a good one. Susanna says electric bicycles aren't cheap. It's all these people are going to be able to afford by the end of this all. They're going to be like $75,000, $7,500 off of the new bike, and they're charging me $8,000 more for it. Well, that's a steal right there. Wow. It's a great deal. It really is a great deal. This is some hilarious stuff right now. It is now 2 minutes until the votes close in Wyoming. The polls close. If you're still in line, of course, stay in line. I don't know how many of my viewers are in Wyoming and are also listening to the stream while standing in line to vote at, it's 6:58 over there. It's about to be 7 o'clock. So I'm so excited as Liz Cheney's career is about to be over. So in the meantime, in between time, in the last minute we have before the primary results officially start to flood in as Miss Hagman trounces Liz Cheney, I want to invite all of our folks in the building to make sure you smash that like button. If you're interested in supporting the show, check out the links down below and confirm your donation and support the show. Shout out to all the people who've done it before, Mark Cook and Enespu, who are our current Hall of Heroes members. We also, of course, support Cash App donations right there. Our Cash App code is ChandlerCR, so if you want to do an easier path, that works as well. We have plenty more things coming very, very soon that I'm very excited for you guys to see. But for now, that's what we have. So if you guys want to check all that out, it's available in the description below. Also, make sure to check out our sponsor, DataSeal.io, to defend your data online and potentially put a stop to identity theft. It all starts online, and it all starts with you. So go to dataseal.io and use code CRUMP for checkout. But now it's time we pull up the election results. I am so very excited as they will finally start to be coming in. And it's not only an election happening in Wyoming, a primary election, but there's also one happening in Arizona as well. So let's take a quick check in with things as the gubernatorial primary is happening. We don't care too much about that. Of course, the gubernatorial is a big deal, but we're not too focused on that. What we're focused on is the U.S. House, and it appears, once again, this is another article that doesn't have it. This is so weird. Yeah, Liz Cheney should have something, but unfortunately, it's like all these places I'm going to don't have the result for it, which is so annoying. I'm gonna keep looking. I don't want to go to the New York Times. I know they're gonna give me some annoying thing, but here it is right now. They're gonna, yeah, there they go. There they go. So you gotta have to subscribe. Australia Day says get rid of Pelosi. I cannot wait for us to do that. NPR, do they have anything? NBC, maybe they do. I was looking for this earlier and there was literally no results. So here we go. NPR does have some results for us. They will be coming in very, very soon. It is now, the clock is now struck 9 p.m. and in Wyoming, it is 7 o'clock. Let me confirm that real quick because I think Wyoming is in mountain time. So what time is it in Wyoming? It is 7 o'clock. My time was right. So the polls just closed in Wyoming and Liz Cheney is about to be enjoying her last term. She is about to become a lame duck representative as she will not be transitioning along to the 118th along with a lot of other representatives that are going to be out. Deuce 2112 says, I noticed that earlier. Yeah, it's like they don't want us to know how terrible she's going to lose. It's like I went to a few other sources. They were only showing the gubernatorial, or they're showing all this weird stuff that had nothing to do with what I searched for. Literally, the top results don't show Liz Cheney, but thankfully NPR has something for now. So we're going to keep an eye on this. But also, outside of Wyoming, we have the Arizona elections, which will include Senator Lisa Murkowski, who has been iffy, so a lot of people are supporting some opposition to her, as well as the brand new at-large district, which is going to be going through an open primary, which will be very exciting, featuring former Governor Sarah Palin. So that's going to be very exciting to see, as well as Sarah Palin is, hasn't been in the news much up until this recent thing, so I'm really excited to see what comes of this. Let me see if I can find some results as well. I really hate how Google works right now, so I looked up Sarah Palin to get her results, and it's showing me all these random articles, and it doesn't plan on showing me anything about their special election except a random write-up. It's not showing me anything about the results, so maybe I'll look up Arizona at-large results. It's so annoying how this stuff works, so maybe PBS will give it to me. Okay, so nope, this is Arizona. This is literally not what I searched for. Oh, I did search for Arizona. Whoops. Okay, that was my fault. Alaska. Whoops. Okay, that was on me. Alaska. So there's New York Times. Screw them. Washington Post. Screw them. CNN. Okay, we'll do with that. And NBC. That one might work. So there you go. So NBC, some results are starting to come in at NBC already. So Sarah Palin is at 27%. She is running under the Republicans. This is an open primary, so Republicans and Democrats are competing against each other. The top two will continue on to the general, and she appears to be taking a heavy lead in the House district right there with a few other very minor candidates around as well. In Wyoming, we're still waiting for results, but it looks like people are heavily favoring a certain Harriet Hagman to run away with the vote, although there's a few other people as well, and names I do recognize, like Anthony Bouchard, so that should be interesting, and of course, there's a Democrat race as well. No results quite yet, nothing's been updated, but I'm very excited to see as things trance on forward. The polls just closed 3 minutes ago, so hopefully they aren't going to be as bad as, what was it, Kansas or so, that was running a terrible election last time around, and they just had no results for us. It's slipping my mind, but it was one of those states, or I think it was one of those counties that just refused to give us anything, and it was taking years. But either way, this is one of the most exciting things, not because we're so particularly excited for Harriet Hagman, but mostly because we're just so dang sick of Liz Cheney. So sick. Susanna says, nobody good reporting. Sarah at 27% ahead. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Sarah Palin at 27%. And it looks like the polls closed in Alaska like a while ago, because it says 95% of the votes are already in. So, yeah, and 43,000 votes. So I guess I'm pretty late on the Sarah Palin thing. It doesn't look like she's been called yet. Oh. Okay, wait, it does say 1 out of 1 House race called. Oh, okay, so is it 4 candidates that proceed? I don't know how well an at-large district works, because I know it's one district for the entire state, and I think it's only Alaska and then Nebraska that do at large. I might be wrong. I think it's a different like interstate that does that, but I know Alaska's one of them at least. So maybe it's 4 candidates that continue on. I'm no Alaskan, so I don't know how this stuff works. I just know that Sarah Palin and a few other people are competing for it, and Wyoming, it will be very, very interesting. Let's see here. The polls have just closed in Wyoming. You follow results was there. Okay, cool. All right, so Liz Cheney, Harriet Hagman, it's all happening right now. I'm anticipating it to take a while for Wyoming, but either way, that's what we've got going on right now. Susanna says, vote Hagman, don't divide it too much. Dagny says, Alaska is important too. They are an hour behind California, and polls close at 8. It says, okay, so polls close at 8. I don't know why 95% of the vote is already in. This is 2022 House primary special election. Last updated at 7:02. This is from the primary today, so I don't know what's going on. Well, Alaska poll close time. I just gotta know, because I know Alaska's always on some weird stuff. Telephone polling place look. Yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. State poll opening and closing times. So Alaska polls open at 7 and close at 8. And Alaska, he is right. Most of it is in that one time zone. So I don't know why there's so many poll results. And that's local time. So that means 8 p.m. local time is like 11 over here. So I don't know why there's so many results from Alaska already. Maybe they just have a different system. So if we've got any Alaskans in the chat that can educate me, let me know. Deuce says, yeah, it's 5 o'clock in Alaska, which means their polls don't even close for a few more hours. So that's interesting. Susanna says, I heard Alaska won't be called until the end of the month because of mail-in ballots. Yeah, Alaska's got some weird stuff going on right there. 30,000 mail-in ballots to pop up for Mr. Mr. M. Peltola. That would be funny. These are all people that are running to replace Don Young. So this is a special election after he died. So they're all running to fill a seat to continue for his term into this next Congress. So it's exciting to see what happens, and then they'll have to run once again come 2023 or so. But either way, Sarah Palin, this will be her step back into politics, so it'll be interesting to come. Right, next, Deuce says Arizona, Kerry Lake election. That was cool. I accidentally searched up Arizona. I was looking for Alaska. They're right next to each other alphabetically, so you can't blame me, even though you technically can. Still no results coming in from Wyoming. I do want to check in on Twitter and see if anybody else has some things to say about this. I know last time around, it was people on Twitter that were absolutely roasting one of those states for just a terrible election. They had us waiting for hours for results. It was terrible. Political polls. Let's see what they've got posted up here. Nothing, doesn't look like anything about Wyoming quite yet. Dave Wasserman is a good source for information about what's going on. Excuse me. It's kind of amusing to see everyone camped out in Jackson Hole for the Wyoming primary. As Jackson Hole goes, maybe a couple of other precincts in Laramie. Well, I guess we're going to have to see what happens. Nothing quite from Wyoming yet, but this is going to be big stuff. Liz Cheney is been a very national voice against President Trump, one of the few to vote to impeach him, I believe, and definitely one of those involved in the January 6th committee. Donald Trump Jr. has been campaigning for Hagman. Election Wizard said today Republicans in Wyoming will fire Liz Cheney and hire Harriet Hagman. Jack Posobiec says the Liz Cheney wing of the Republican Party is flying into a political jet turbine. David Axelrod says Liz Cheney reportedly is not able to campaign for re-election at open public events in Wyoming because of threats to her safety. So, yeah, lots of voices involved. This is going to be some big stuff. We might not get any results for us on the show until tomorrow because I don't want to keep the stream going for too long. But Wyoming is Trump country. Sorry, Liz Cheney. Lots of people speaking up about this. Let's see what the latest is on Twitter, and then we'll check on Truth Social as well. Drive that miserable winch Liz Cheney far from Wyoming. That's a good one. It's much more that Liz Cheney being soundly defeated in Wyoming, which will be announced shortly. It's a message to the nation that Republicans will always fight deep state tyranny. The citizens of Wyoming can't get rid of her soon enough. I have not seen a single pro-Liz Cheney post. Wyoming is full of hillbilly idiots. Nothing even about Liz Cheney. That's funny. Of course, they've got the I stand with Ukraine flag, so whatever. The polls just closed in Wyoming. Hashtag bye-bye Liz. She is so done. It is so over. Let's go to Truth Social and do some last checking around and see what people have to say about Wyoming, because I'm sure it's just going to be beautiful. So let's look at some truths on Truth Social, and then we'll look at Parler too and see if they've got anything. The Bush dynasty is finished in Texas. The McCain dynasty is finished in Arizona. On August 16th, put it into the Cheney dynasty in Wyoming. I'm staying focused on what power we have over in 8 days. Wyoming will defeat Liz Cheney. Lots of people speaking about it. Backed down 28 points against Trump-backed challenger. It's so over. It's so over. It's so over. She's done. And she even had Democrats like begging for their votes. She's like, please, Democrats, please, we need you. The only way we can make it out of here, the only way we can continue me on the January 6th committee is if you vote for me. I know it's a hard ask, but just vote for a Republican. We can get it done. And the Democrats are like, listen, we like you, Liz. We like what you're doing, but you have not earned our vote. We're going to vote for literally anybody but you. So sad to say that's how it happened. Let's see if we can check out some things over on Parler about, Harriet Hagman winning exit polling. Rhino Republican women that support abortion will lose their seats in Alaska, Wyoming, and Arizona. Wyoming primary results live. All sorts of stuff. Everybody's talking about it. Exit polling is just looking like Liz Cheney is getting blasted. It's sad. I truly do feel sad for her. Just joking.
Stop the cap.
I don't feel sad for her at all. We'll do one last check and see if there's any results. Nothing more quite yet, but obviously Harriet Hagerman is the heavily supported candidate. Trump endorsed. Everybody on Twitter is talking about it. It's going to be great. Of course, NBC says too early to call because not a single vote has been counted yet, but I would be surprised to see even over 500 votes within the first 1% for Liz Cheney. So it's going to be very, very good. Susanna says, what are Cheney's numbers now? Let's do a quick check. Cheney primary polling. I wonder if we'll be able to find any numbers. The poll results are in. Let's see here. Oh, I don't want to sign up for your thing. Please, bro. Please. I'm going to have to find another one. Liz Cheney down. It says she's down by 20 points. Okay, I don't think they're going to make me subscribe or anything. So polls show Cheney is down by 20 points or more as her approval among Republicans in the state has nosedived. Oh, and that's linking me to the same thing that wants me to subscribe. Cheney has been trying to appeal to Democrats, all that. The good idea on its face, but it's likely ill-fated. There simply aren't enough Democrats in Wyoming. State has voted by a wider margin for Trump in the 2020 presidential election than any other state in the country. She's done. So she's down 20 points. Somebody says in 6 months we'll know the truth. That's funny. In 6 months, I'm sure none of us will be thinking about Liz Cheney for a very long time unless she decides to go the way of Joe Walsh and run for president in 2024 after literally losing her seat. Either way, that's the show for you guys today, ladies and gentlemen. Big shout out to everybody who's tuning with us. Can we get 10 more likes on the stream and hit 100 likes before we wrap things up as we keep an eye on the results one last time? I want to hit 100 likes. We're at 90 likes right now, so if you're just getting in here, make sure you smash that like button. I would like to see it get torn apart down there. Ooh, special announcement from expected loser. What could this be? Is this about to be a meme? What is this? I was just sent something from Mr. I have to put in his whole tag because Twitter will never let me find him. What is that? People's Pundit. There you go. People's Pundit. So let me see if I can put this up for you guys. A special announcement expected from loser Liz Cheney. What is this? Okay, there's nothing here. Alright, well, it's still going to be very funny to see. Love listening to things about Michigan 3 for people who didn't spend weeks polling it. Super not informative. If you think John Gibbs has a weaker support candidate than Peter Mayer, then you are a cubicle warrior who knows nothing about the state of Republicans. It's funny. Live chat. Oh gosh, this is going to be so fun. Liz Cheney versus Harry Eggman. I'm so excited to see her just get absolutely obliterated. It's going to be a great time. Helicon on Rumble says it's about time people are starting to see that. Okay, they're getting down to people involved. Cheney dynasty down. Reckoning Knight says XD. Yeah, all that stuff. Thomas Blake says, okay, I'm 90. We're at 92. St. June says, yes, smash that like button. I'm down with it all. Liz Cheney, Turncoat 2022. Liz Cheney says Susanna Donovan. I think this is the most times I've said Liz Cheney in one night. But I think it'll be the last time I say her name ever, so I'm excited to see it. Either way, she's going down tonight. It's going to be a great time. Keep an eye on all the poll numbers. If you want updates on all that, make sure you follow me on Truth Social and you follow me over on Parler for live updates about all that, including exclusive content and posts of which you can find over on my Parler page, which I have linked in the chat right now. Just follow me over on Parler. My name's @Chandler. The platform is available at justparler.com, so you subscribe to me and follow me there. I have exclusive stuff all there you can find about travel, trips I do. All that is available up there for stuff you won't find on Twitter or anywhere else. Check me out all down there. But aside from all that, I'll catch you guys tomorrow at 4 for the Chandler Brief. And aside from all that, don't forget to spread the rest of intelligence. Peace out and good night.
Will we be to the light.